All right.
Hey, Rob.
Andrew Bauman.
How you doing, man?
Good. I don't think we had a sufficient cold open, though. I think all that stuff was not for
none of
time.
that. No, that's okay. We'll just keep rolling. Oh, you want to talk about mug clubs?
No.
Come on.
We can talk about it in the show.
Yeah, this is the show. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
We're at Historic Brewing Company in Flagstaff at the brewing facility, the East Side location.
Yes, and we're sacrificing our wonderful view of the stainless steel brewery and activity and watching Kristen, the bartender here, the bar manager, getting ready. I mean, things that are interesting visually, but we're looking at a wall of mugs.
Yeah.
So that we can have a nice
view for our
YouTube viewers.
Our loyal
all seven
YouTube
of
viewers.
YouTube video
That's right.
people.
That's right. 7 streams a month, like it or not. Oh, a month? Whoops.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, they have a mug club here.
Yeah. Welcome to season 4.
Oh, welcome to season 4. Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It was officially last week by the episode number. And that was the one you recorded with Nathan at Wanderlust.
Cool.
Nathan squared at Wanderlust cubed. Second Nathan, third iteration of Wanderlust. I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I mean that as a testament to the enduring name, brand, fan base.
And the respect that the original Nathan has. Because if he didn't have that respect, people would just be like, oh, guess what? It's Nathan.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a legacy.
It's hard to get out of that Nathan shadow, especially when there's 2 shadows.
Man, it's tough.
Anyway, we are looking at a wall of mugs.
Yes.
I could take a picture of that.
And they have some cool looking mugs for sure. They allow their mug club members to decorate with stickers, it looks like. But not only that, but the mugs themselves are, some of them are really cool.
Do you know the story behind this?
No, please share with me.
Carolyn Kenley, who was one of the Kenley family that had a more direct hand in this brewery. I think she's out of the picture now for the last 5 years, maybe. Did a lot of the branding, did a lot of the names that you know and love from Historic, was part of that wellspring of creativity. Her husband, I can't remember his name. His last name is Mays. Was a potter and is still a potter and does his own line of pottery. They live in California now, but he's still responsible for making the mugs for the mug club. And you will note they're various size. And that plays into, if you are fortunate enough to have chosen a very large mug, you get a lot more beer than someone who's got a smaller mug. Although, I'm often when I'm get the choice between a 16 and 20, I always dial down to it.
If I get the choice between a 12 and a 20, I'll go 12 or 10, whatever. Or 16.
There is no standardized size.
Right.
Which, is a quirky little thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But that's where we are.
Well, they're beautiful, and that got a little conversation about mug clubs going, and I am a fan. How do you feel about mug clubs?
I think they can work. I don't know that they are. It depends on what your perspective is. As a consumer, I'm not really locked into a singular local place, so it doesn't make sense for me to be, part of a mug club. Although I would say, if you have a mug club and you're a fan of the guild, I think having a Rob and Andrew mug available for Rob and Andrew would be a good thing for you.
It's true.
It'd be a nice little shout out to us. I mean, it's not like we're going to break the bank. We're not going to take, we're not going to
come in every day and pound 3 Imperial IPAs.
No. I was a mug club member back in the Rio Salado days.
Yeah, me too.
I actually have 2 mugs there because I won one membership for their costume contest at Halloween one year. And so I still have my mugs.
Yeah.
One with my Jeep name. With the 5 L's and an O. And one with my actual name, which will remain a mystery. No one will know my name on this podcast.
Right.
And then Papago, occasionally I was in and out. And then towards the end, they just, again, as the director, they just said, we're giving you a mug. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's nice. So those 2 are.
There's so many ways to run a mug club. Can you tell me how Rio Salado ran theirs?
I don't know the nuts and bolts.
I don't remember.
You paid in advance, and then you got to drink out of that mug. So
and the mug was engraved. It was a ceramic mug engraved. It was beautiful.
Yeah. But those were made by a company, and they were all standardized and more or less. But it was nice. As a business, I don't know that I would design one to be a moneymaker, quote unquote. I think you're just looking for a metric, a steady stream of customers. It's just a way to know who, what your base is. It's a reward. I'm sure some people look at it as covering the cost of the mug, and I don't know. There's a little bit of a gym membership strategy. Like if everyone came in and only used their mug all the time, you probably wouldn't do that well. But again, it's what you prioritize, right?
I mean, mug clubs don't have to have a discount attached to them. It can be an early invite for exclusive beers. It can be annual parties. Obviously, you're going to have them. Some people give discounts to mug clubs. Some people upscale their standard pour for mug club members. So there's a ton of ways to do it.
Right.
And it doesn't have to impact your bottom line. Like, I know Button Brewing has a mug club they've done since they opened, and they give out super cool swig. They did those kegs with the tap on the top growlers.
Right.
For their mug club members. It is not a cheap mug club,
right.
But that's super cool and something that you'll never forget that from that brewery, right?
Right. Well, and there might even be a legal component to this, extending back maybe even to Europe in terms of being able to provide a discount or some alcohol law that this sort of
could step over the line.
Is a mitigation of that rule, as far as I know. It could be, in the similar vein to when certain states you had to give a tour, you had to have an educational component.
Sure.
There may be some esoteric reason historically why someone would set up a mug club, because it doesn't really. I mean, yes, you have punch cards for coffee, but having the physical mug there is kind of unique, But
and a club, we only sell so many.
Yeah.
And then we have club night where everyone can come in and we do a big party. We have Vienna sausages and nachos. This is my place. I don't know about everyone else. It's fine.
Vienna sausages and nachos.
Yeah, delicious. Bonnie likes Vienna sausages. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Well, then wouldn't you have a little cocktail fork club too?
Probably cocktail fork club. They don't get discounts on beer, just a cocktail party. With Vienna sausages.
But only the sausages are the cocktail aspect.
You have to stay on that side of the room, not on the side with the nachos.
Wow.
I don't know what's happening.
Wow, we just created a really terrible experience, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they call it the Smug Mug Wall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a couple here. Show the difference. Gotta remember.
Yeah, they do. You know that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
As long as they have the sticker, they'll see it, right? Okay.
Yeah. So these are vastly different. I mean, maybe it's one of these physical experiments, where they have this. No, there's no way these are the same volume. Okay.
Oh, it's beer time? I do like that. I like IPAs. I'll do number 4. Please. Yes, thank you.
I will do a number 7. Yes, also.
That went well.
Yeah.
I'll talk to your bartender.
Yeah, of course.
They
Good thing
also have chips
I
here.
started removing the pauses like this out of it.
They also have chips here. You don't have to remove them. It's fine.
No, it makes it,
Much better.
yeah, there's
Good.
better flow to it.
They have games. They have chips. They have books.
Yeah.
They have foosball.
So I just got off a BA call, and one of the ad hoc topic conversations
Brewers Association, right?
was somebody in Massachusetts got a bunch of publicity because they are decidedly saying, if your kids are not within arm's reach, you are not welcome here. And I know that there's always this kids in breweries thing, and I guess what was different about it is they got overwhelming support for that idea. Like people, she said, people literally turned their cars around when they heard about it on the highway and drove to support. So I don't know, like, and so there was just a question
reasonable.
about it does, and I said, my input was like, well, maybe talk to your restaurant association, because here's the thing. One, they're a larger body, and if they already have a policy or they have recommendations, it's just better to go on to that. The second thing is, I think as a larger organization,
Thank you so much.
I think as a larger organization, they're going to have more training materials. They're going to have a deeper resource in local people helping you manage that. And, the weakness in our industry is there's not a lot of that training. We do conferences, and we have tried like hell to get a front of the house component to our conferences. And it's just because their hours, we would have to have it, I don't know when we'd have to have it, 8 a.m.?
No, your prep guys are there at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You have to come in to open the doors.
Yeah. It's tough to get a body of people
Front of house.
Front of house. So,
well, I think that was a great solution. I mean, I've seen people with signs. I've seen people say no kids. I've seen so many things, and they never seem to go well. It seems like that's a pretty reasonable and objectively measurable thing.
yeah.
Is that your kid has to be in arm's reach. I have seen recently tap rooms where there were kids that were being unreasonably loud, and the parents had no desire to adjust their behavior.
Yeah.
At all. This is an adult space that welcomes kids. This is not family space.
Right. I recall,
Because again, this is a tap room. This is not a restaurant. This is just beer.
I recall going to a soft opening of a brewery where children of brewery employees were climbing on the brew deck. And
was it my soft opening or
no?
Okay.
This was a year where months ago we had a death in a brewery, and I literally had to get up on the brew deck and say, listen, this happened, and this is super uncomfortable for me to watch this happen. This is not, a place for your kids to play. And like,
they weren't brewing, were they?
No.
Oh, okay.
Regardless. I mean,
your point's taken for
fall
sure.
hazards, caustics are available in and around the brew deck. I don't know. Valves.
Got you.
You
Yeah.
know? So that was a discussion.
I mean, that's not quite where we're at. We're talking about kids in a brewery.
Yeah.
But breweries change so much. Like, there are indoor spaces, outdoor spaces. You have large breweries, small breweries. There are places where it's more appropriate and less appropriate, but you can't really just paint with the broad brush. Kids should not go to a brewery. That's not what you were doing.
No.
But I get that from a lot of people. Kids shouldn't be in breweries. Okay, when I say a lot of people, I mean when I used to go on Facebook.
Right.
Not now.
There's just as much alcohol available at a baseball game,
Oh, yeah.
football game,
Sure.
Disneyland. Maybe not Disneyland.
Yes?
Disneyland. Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can go on brewery tour, or you can go on beer tours and international cocktail tours at Disneyland, for sure.
So, I mean, and, one of the members or one of the guild directors discussed a brewery that they are themed as family adventure time, like literally, down to play equipment and whatever. So you're right. You can't paint with a wide brush necessarily, but I do happen to think that we tend to hire people who are interested in beer or know beer, and that doesn't mean they're going to be very good with people or families or children or feel comfortable asserting themselves in the same way that people who are in the hospitality industry have a lot more experience with that. It might not be good for the business, depending on who you get in it's hospitality. But I'm just saying, like,
it's so specific to each brewery that I just find it difficult when people say there should never be a kid in a brewery. It's just like, what are you talking about? Never? Always?
I'm trying to remember the last time I felt that children in Arizona in a brewery situation were disruptive. except for what I just told you about that soft opening. I mean, that was very marked. I can't remember that happening in a while.
We do different things because I have seen it, and I'm like, so I guess really just parents keep your kids within an arm's length. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
Kid needs to go to the bathroom, go with them. Kid wants to get a game, walk over and select it with them.
Right. Everybody else is seated.
Kid wants to run up on the brew deck, go with them. I don't know.
It was funny. The new director from New Jersey, who was a taproom manager, she's like, I had to get kids out of a dumpster.
Right.
And the parents still didn't understand why I didn't want them back.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen some things in my years in breweries for sure. But that's not kids in dumpsters. I haven't seen that one yet. Definitely kids carrying their parents' beer for them. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no.
Anyway.
Okay. We didn't come here to talk about mug clubs or kids in breweries, but here we are.
We're in Historic Brewing Company.
I haven't seen you for weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I saw you on the video.
Yeah. You had a trip to Wisconsin.
I did,
That was a family trip, personal trip.
I got to do some brewery things.
Oh, great.
I got to go to Lakefront, sit on their balcony deck overlooking the Milwaukee River.
Ah, gorgeous.
I got to go to Eagle Park, brewery in the same neighborhood, and just kind of sat in this outdoor patio and looking at the AF Gallon building, which was a Cream City brick factory building that, I don't know, like a lot of people who were photography majors at UWM would take pictures of it because it's
got elements
it has some, it just has some
scream out for pictures.
Black and white photos of the AF Gallon building. AF Gallon was a tannery. And at the height of its production, it would have been so terribly stinky that there would be no drinking of beer across the street from the AF.
Only throwing up.
Yeah. That would be where they render the skins from, and having the body decompose only benefits the separation. I don't know. That's a little graphic, I suppose.
This is an adult podcast.
Yeah, I got to go to a couple of places I haven't been to in a while. There's a restaurant in the marina that it looks like you're going into an industrial area to dump a body, and then all of a sudden you see boats. And I saw the largest goddamn forklift I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my!
The forks on it were as tall as this. It was like probably 18 feet tall and 18-foot forks to lift a whole entire boat out of the water.
That's a
and then
big
they
boy.
put it on a shelf for storage, indoor and outdoor storage.
Wow!
Put your boat on a shelf. These are not
boat forklift driver.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I don't know. I there was an outdoor summer solstice festival, even it was a week early. 6 stages on North Avenue.
Whoa, amazing.
Ran into some friends that I hadn't seen in a while, randomly, which is the kind of thing that happens in a town that just sort of explodes with street festivals in the summer.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that, we lost a camera.
Oh well. Man.
But, mostly because I turned my mother over to the care of my brother in the evening. I would go out pretty late.
Did you close Wolski's?
I did not. I closed a couple other bars though. I didn't. I stayed north of Brady Street, so Gordon Park pub area, and then I also did a little delve into Bayview. Let me tell you what a bad idea for Rob is. It's a bad idea for me to go to Leon's Custard, get their version of a hamburger, which is basically a sloppy Joe. Have an ice cream and a malted milk, right? And then go to a place called At Random that sells ice cream drinks. And let me tell you, like, that was a lactose intolerant evening.
Leon's Custard, the original.
Yeah. So
good.
All in all, good trip. Came back here. It's Wednesday before our big Real Wild and Woody festival. I'm gonna do this.
Well, I mean, it's Thursday today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We did get here on Wednesday.
Gonna come up here again for the holiday, and then I got 6 days in San Diego. So I don't know how much beer value I'm gonna get in San Diego this time around. Again, I'll be with my mom and my brother and some kids, family time, but we'll see. I'll do my best.
Yeah. Hey, a friend of the show, Ken Wilson, his mother is having some health struggles right now, so I'd like to keep him in everyone's thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just throw that out there randomly because you mentioned moms, and
I talk to a lot of people who say, "Oh yeah, this happened to me," or "This, this is coming up in my life."
yeah, it's my life.
Yeah.
I had to take my aunt to the hospital last week.
Yeah.
She said, my guest toilet keeps running. Can you come over and take a look at it? Yes. So I ran. It was Sunday morning. And I was like, okay, something to do now. So I went to the Home Depot, picked up the repair kit. Bonnie took a shower, got dressed. We headed over to Aunt Pat's. And before we got to the end of the street, she called and said, I'm not feeling well. Can you take me to the hospital? So that's how it transitions. You come and take a look at my leaky toilet that keeps running, and then can you just take me to the ER?
Yeah.
So we did that. Yeah. Man. That was this Saturday.
Yeah.
She's fine now, though.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They basically gave her a heart attack. They shocked her to stop her heart so it restart itself, and then it's just back to normal.
Yeah, that sounds like something I could get done once in a while. Just,
she does.
Reset everything.
I
Just do a cold boot.
That is what it is. Yes. It's crazy, but yes.
Right on.
Again, not the point.
We're here ahead of Real Wild and Woody. And there's some challenges this year, right? I mean, a little bit different than last year. Give everyone a heads up.
Yeah, and there's some challenges. This isn't going to be going out till after the thing, but the other event venue immediately north of the Pioneer Museum has 3 events going on. We have another organization that has rented out what was an overflow parking lot, so that's not available. We do have the Arizona Historical Society reached out to the Coconino County Community Development Department and got us approved to use the parking lot there, so that's a big plus. And ticket sales are down. A number of breweries involved are down. We have some cool freaking sample cups though. Mm-hmm. We're doing the bracelet making table. Got a couple other lawn games that are going to be there. We've got Threes in the Trees food truck and the Sassy Fig food truck. So, there's going to be some fun times. I think it's going to be a lot more chill than it has been in the past, and that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah. So, I guess, some people have heard, because we talk about it a lot, but this is how our organization is funded. And so when this doesn't do as well, there's a thought that maybe it's not something that we do for a fundraiser anymore, and that means it doesn't get done at all.
We need to find different ways of fundraising, and essentially what it should come down to, and that is not necessarily what it will come down to, is if an event makes money, we do it again. If it doesn't make money, we don't do it again. Unless we have a reason, like, oh my God, it poured rain that day,
right,
and it wrecked everything.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe that's an anomaly. But if we see the trend is festival overall attendance is significantly dropping, which it is everywhere, with only minor exceptions or few exceptions.
Yeah, I was just talking about Summerfest, which used to be a week. Is only a 4-day weekend, 5-day weekend now.
Yep. And state fairs, same thing. Like, there are music festivals that just don't happen anymore. For us, though, it is the life of our organization. So if that continues as a trend, We
There,
just have to find different ways of making that organization continue, and that might not mean having a full-time employee.
yeah, and it might not mean. Well, there's a lot of different implications, but the way that these organizations fund themselves fall into a couple of buckets. One is if you have a large base of businesses, you don't need everyone to be a member. You have, thousands and thousands of restaurants. You don't need thousands and thousands of people joining as members. You can also do it, where only a handful who have the wherewithal disposal to fund an organization. So you might have an industry represented by a handful of things. So whether we like it or not, the big three, it's more than the big three breweries now, but have full-time Washington, D.C. lobbyists 100% of the time. They don't necessarily represent our interests. There is some crossover, obviously, but we don't get a say in what Budweiser's rep does in lobbyist does in D.C. There are industries with big winners and not people who are not doing so well. And again, the political interests of the largest organizations fund that function, and that's what they get. The other way is, everybody pays no matter what. It's hard to pull that off, but there are organizations that are funded through state laws where it says if you are in this industry, you have to be a member of this organization. It's not very common, but everybody's paying something.
There's also guilds that are funded by their state Department of Agriculture. However, they can't do any lobbying.
Right. And also
only for promotion and connecting, promotion and education. That's it. No lobbying.
Right. And that was the case for Tennessee. And when the funding dropped, they didn't have any way to recover from that.
Yep.
So I think they might be back in a different format.
They have a new executive director. I don't know what.
But that might be someone's full-time employee, as far as I know.
Or it might be that the three largest breweries in Tennessee are just paying that guy's salary.
Right. So that's what Arizona and a lot of other states have to come to terms with. And, it's somewhere that you and I talked about when you first got the job, that this was going to be something that has to be addressed, but it's a slow process. It's a very slow process. People have to start feeling some pain sometimes for it to change.
Wickenburg Oktoberfest, I talked to our partner in Wickenburg and said, hey, look, we are struggling to get breweries involved. We're struggling to get ticket sales, and you're already the break-even one. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that this year. I'm going to talk to our members. Our board has weighed into it, although at a weird time when we have an entirely new board coming out now. So we'll revisit what our board's opinion is, but I'm going to talk to the members and say, hey, would you think this is valuable to the organization? Is it valuable to your organization? And what could we do to make it more valuable? If nothing, what else could we do to raise funds? Because if we just say, let's not go to Wickenburg anymore, what else are we going to do instead? It's not just just cut all of our funding opportunities out. We don't want to do anything else. Okay, if you just want to write a check,
right,
just write a check. A bigger one, a much bigger one than you're writing now.
And, to me, that's maybe $35,000.
What's
of
that?
Dues. That doesn't pay your salary. It doesn't pay my salary. It doesn't pay.
Sure. You mean even if we increased everyone's dues to levels that are more comparable in guilds in other states, we still would not really hit the number because they're based on barrelage.
Right.
And we just don't make that much beer here when you look at it in that perspective.
Right. I'm just saying, I know what 100 people paid when 100 people were doing pretty well or had, and they could have paid more, I'm sure. But every increase, you're going to lose a certain percentage. So I'm saying, I'm just throwing a number out there. $35,000 is what I think
is our total bucket we should expect
right now. Yeah, unless something happens where people's business is being threatened by a law change or interpretation of a law that has been passed that hasn't been exercised recently. Or, I was just thinking about this the other day, how many times we have discussions with departments say, this is our reading of it, and they don't push back on it. But if they would change that, a lot of people would have to change the way they do business. It's, it's not something I want to articulate now because I don't want it to be an issue, but there are plenty of things like that. And there are plenty of things where we have a discussion with the distributor and they're like, okay, yeah, we see it the same way, but they could see it a different way.
Crisis can drive community.
Yeah.
It always drives community. So speaking of all those fancy things, Arizona.
I'm sorry. I think the festival idea was a good idea because everybody gets something. And, yes, there are people who say, well, it's too much money. Totally get that. There are people who feel as though their ticket buys them much more say in what we do. Not very many. Policy-wise, there's a lot of people who call me and say, why can't I get this beer from another state? I said, well, that would just introduce more competition to our members. Like, our members are...
We're not fighting for craft beer for the entire world. We're fighting for Arizona craft beer.
Right. So, I don't... In the same way, I don't think it's fair to say, oh, you people who are fans of this brewery, you didn't support it enough. That's bullshit. I don't think when you say, hey, it's critical that we get more of the public involved in our fundraising in a very direct way. That's why I've resisted like donations and stuff like that. You're really promising more than you can deliver. Like, I think the Brewers Association had this problem, and it still kind of does. I think when it became clear to everybody that GABF funded a majority of our programming, majority of that organization, people started to push back, especially when it came to DEI issues. They thought, well, this is what I believe. I've been buying your tickets, therefore I should get what I, as a consumer, want. It's a very fine line. It's a very fine line. Without even weighing in the merits of those decisions. When you involve people who are not members but are supporters, but you don't give them a defined role, it's you can get into some trouble.
It's like when breweries have Kickstarters.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I remember so many breweries 15 years ago that were doing, $50,000 Kickstarter to try and get some money, and then they came back and people are like, I'm an owner.
Before I was a director, I invested in probably 10 of those pursuits.
I think I did like 3.
I maybe got what I was promised 3 times. And I'm talking like mailed stickers, T-shirt. I'm not talking about...
I just wanted them to open. I didn't really care about stickers or T-shirts.
Oh, me too. But I'm just saying, like, and the one that came through was the original one, which was Mystery Brewing in North Carolina. Gave me everything I asked for on time. But that's Eric, and that's what he does. Like,
Arizona Wilderness Brewing did all the things that they said they were going to do.
Okay. I don't remember getting something once, but it's not like I'm going to go to John and say, hey,
let's fight.
No. I think I was supposed to go on a canoe trip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's all right.
You definitely give him a call. If you don't want it, I'll take it. I like canoes.
We should get a new camera is what I think. That middle camera I don't know if it's the car's not seated right or what. Anyway, yeah. I mean, that's just the reality of it, like
right.
People listening know that we've been pretty upfront about it. And
I don't think that ever went into that intending to fail at it. I think they just ended up failing at it.
Yeah. I think, and there are people doing pretty well. And if they're not doing as well as they used to, they still have a lot of opportunities that they know they can run down. There's definitely that. Does that mean it's back to 25 or 30 breweries that can sort of have that outlook and have that ability to pull through this? It might be. It might be more. And we're always going to get new entrants, right? We're always going to get people who, even if they stick around for 3 to 5 years or 5 to 10, that's pretty good. We are starting to see people in the 10 plus years kind of looking to get out.
Right.
And not necessarily because they're in their 70s or they don't have a turnover plan.
It's exhausting.
It is. And I think having a family and all that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you're single, you can do renegade type things that you can't do when you have
Right.
a 5 and a 7-year-old that need to go to softball.
Right. I was gonna say, girls softball, boys soccer,
Yeah.
just as important in their lives. Totally get it. So,
What else?
I
don't know.
Gonna go to DC
Yeah.
too. Also,
Rob is going to DC when?
right after San Diego,
God.
and then depending, I might go to Portugal and join my wife Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
If you're not completely burnt out.
I don't know. I might have to mail my suit back. I'm not taking my suit to Portugal.
Good point. Good point.
I don't know. We'll see. I did see that our reception is at the Hawk and Dove in DC, which is a well attended bar by policymakers, representatives. You will see.
We've been there.
Yeah, you will. I mean, we sat. I'm trying to remember. We sat at a table right down from, I think it was Rand Paul or somebody.
Right.
Right. So in that respect, it's good. But that is the most ABI centric bar. Like, if you want Devil's Backbone, you want all the ABI brands.
Yep.
That's
I mean,
all
they
had.
don't still make beer, do they? I don't know who ABI still has actually making beer that they bought. Like, I honestly don't.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of like their core.
Yeah. You'll get Devil's Backbone for sure there.
But also East Coast, West Coast, all the differences in what gets sent where.
They might had, it was all mainstream and then ABI craft and maybe 3 handles of
Local.
something else like DC Brow and
Yeah.
and that's it.
All right.
So that won't be the case for our reception, nevertheless.
Theoretically.
Yeah. I have an opportunity to bring beer. I just don't know if I'm at the
To the
country
reception? How?
Well, I have to ship it.
Okay, you have to ship it, but
I got about a week to figure that out. It's not a requirement. It's available.
they will serve it there?
Yeah.
How's that make
DC doesn't have the same. DC is pretty much
no 3-tier system?
just send it.
Alrighty. That explains a lot about the prior receptions. But
Well,
sure.
and
also the Library of Congress to the Hawk and Dove.
yeah.
What is? I mean, I'm not talking about the premier, the event level thing, but like the space.
Well, there's a couple things going on. One, if you're doing your events in June and July, that means you're not relying on seeing a lot of members
Right.
of Congress. It also means you don't think it's likely that you'll pass a bill that year.
Right.
And it's more of a maintenance.
We're still here.
Yeah. So that is the case this year. And
Yeah.
it just so happened that you and I are involved in a period where we were trying to kaboomtra and then get it permanently instantiated more than once because it was just renewed and then we
And I mean,
finally-
there's still important issues
yeah.
to our industry that need to be addressed on the federal level, but none of that's happening. So.
No, but you don't do in June and July. You never get to having it in April when you're actually pushing something that you think might go through.
Yeah.
And there are other points of ongoing legislation and tax and tariff where we do, at a very minimum, get to express our opinion. We get to make somebody feel bad at the very least.
Right.
And I don't mean the member of Congress. I mean the policymaker who may go on to be the member of Congress.
Right. It's the staff that runs that government,
Right.
not the people that you elect,
Right.
for sure.
Right. Yeah. So,
But they choose those people, so
yeah.
their name's on it.
Flagstaff news, randomly.
Oh yeah,
the museum club is up
wait,
for sale.
I'm not ready yet. I have Flagstaff news first.
Well, okay.
I thought you were asking me.
No, I'm telling you a piece of Flagstaff news. So if
all
I
right.
talk long enough, you can
Okay.
gather your
Great,
thoughts.
great. I'm ready. But
The museum club is for sale, $3.2 million. I don't think that's a good deal. It is a nice,
they're
large
essentially
space.
just selling the lot, right?
I don't know.
I mean, the building itself is nice, but it needs a lot of rehab.
Yeah, it's a large space. It has an outdoor area, a huge parking lot, which to me would say, yeah, someone might buy it for the property. It is, I don't know, 1925 or something like
I
that.
wonder if it's like a historical site, which would even kill it more.
I don't know, man. Would I love to inherit it and do something with it? Of course, but it would be sad to see that go. But that's the reality of it. Like, right? It's a log cabin looking building. Inside there are dead trees that are part of the ornamentation, and there's a couple stage areas. And again, they have an enclosed patio with pine trees. It's kind of a little oasis on Route 66. And I would encourage anybody who's in Flagstaff just to go have they have a couple craft beers, but get a bottle of Banquet or something.
Right.
I mean, you can't spend 25, 30
Or a
minutes
whiskey neat.
there. Yeah. So that's my Flagstaff news.
Oh, I would like to update everyone that every road in Flagstaff is under construction. So give yourself half an hour to get 3 blocks if you need to.
I think what you mean is there's a hole being dug on every. There's not necessarily
More accurate.
The 17 is very nice. It's not.
The 17 is
It's not
nice.
It's not complete.
Right.
Because the overflow lanes aren't working yet.
Right. It is.
But
it is
there's
really
a lot more
nice.
3-lane than there ever was.
And that buttery smooth road.
Yeah. But careful. It's some of the nicest, newest, well-engineered roads. There's still 65 in some places with 3 lanes.
Lots of places.
Yeah. What was your other Flagstaff news?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Construction?
Yeah.
It's evergreen news, I think.
Probably.
I understand that Historic here has a beer that is going to support more of these forestry kind of things, and they're going to do something in the Verde Valley in September.
Oh, great.
Yeah, maybe we get maybe Zach will jump on here.
They're
I don't
doing
know.
like a little beer release drop thing.
Yeah.
What is the name of that?
It's not Dead Horse State Park, but it's near there. It's a place that they're promoting.
The newest Arizona State Park. Like it
Right.
opened 3. River.
Yeah,
Ranch.
they're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to get us to do something there as a festival, and I just, as we explained,
Who is?
The Parks Department. Remember?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah.
You'll talk to them.
I thought you meant recently.
You'll talk to them when I'm in DC. You'll be at the Governor's
I'll be at
Conference on
Governor's
Travel,
Conference on
and they
Tourism.
will double down on it. And maybe it's worth listening to them. I don't know. Maybe something small. I don't know. You got to talk. You still have to talk to people.
Yeah, for sure.
You still have to hear what they have to say. Oh, our legislature's still in session. We're in the top 10 longest sessions in the history of Arizona.
And
All of my career, at least 10 of them have been in the top 20 longest sessions. They don't have a budget. They tried to pass the skinny budget twice. It was dead on arrival. Governor Hobbs had already negotiated a deal with the Senate Republicans. This is a Senate Republicans versus House Republicans with the Freedom Caucus in the mix. So government could shut down on Tuesday, which is after this.
all we have to blame is the same party fighting between the House and the Senate.
Yes.
That's wild.
And in the leadership, and a lot of the rank and file new members want to understand why they're not involved in negotiations.
And where do the Dems sit on this?
The Senate Dems were unhappy about the Senate deal, but they said we'll take it because there's money going towards immigration interdiction. So you can understand that's not in their party's platform. The House Democrats say they have the votes to kill it if it gets to the House. So we're not out of the woods on any, and I mean, not that it'll matter, but to me, this is the Republicans' shutdown if it should occur. So that would mean if you have a pending license, if you have a special event permit, and there's a government shutdown, you will not receive that. And what I know about this is backlogs are the killer. It's not that, oh, you didn't get it this day. Every day it compounds.
Yep. Every day it gets worse and worse.
And, a lot of we're used to sometimes getting licenses same day because of our relationship and because of our completeness and accuracy in getting our forms in.
And that is not an essential function according to the,
No.
yeah, that
No.
would be like DPS and ADOT, some ADOT stuff, Department of Corrections.
Well, we've never had a shutdown in the modern era.
I was in my discussion today with my good friend at the Arizona Historical Society who came up just to make sure that the space was ready for our event. He lives in Tucson, came up to make sure we had things going on, and there were a couple issues that he's addressing. He said in 2008 when he worked for the Department of Corrections, there was a shutdown. So he is not. He said that, but he didn't get furloughed because he was DOC in there.
I don't think there was a shutdown. I think, well, no, I got to take this back. I think there was a shutdown in the 70s or 80s. There was a time when they went beyond June 30th. They went into July 1st, but they were all at the Capitol, and they took all the clocks out of the building and just said it's still June 30th. Are you familiar with this concept?
No.
This is the same concept as the House, U.S. House, saying the definition of a day is one entire legislative session, because they had some things that would rule-wise would not favor the party in power, because if you don't do something by a certain amount of days, it's null and void. To extend that, they refined the definition of a day.
Definition of a day. Huh.
Yeah. So
That's thinking outside the reality.
I mean, if you're
Okay.
not cheating,
All right.
if you're not, what is it?
Well, our friend may be furloughed on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and that is interesting. I mean, he's not freaking out. He's okay, but you can't say that about all the state employees who rely on their paycheck to,
Well,
pay their mortgage.
it's not only
buy
that.
food.
I mean, I think there's an understanding. Look, if someone told you you couldn't work for a week in the job, that it's not that you're gonna feel like, oh, I'm economically gonna be on the wrong end of that. I mean, you're more like, I want to get the job done. People are relying on me. I'm there's a lot of people in public service.
Yeah.
When you go into public service, you trade you trade, high financial earnings for long-term stability and the ability to accomplish a mission that you were hired to do. That's why it's not generally a political thing.
Right.
It's you serve a department, an agency. I think that's what happens, and then so you lose their confidence, and you get in a position where you're not getting the most dedicated people to that.
Right.
To
So
that
government
cause.
shutdown's bad. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Saturday I went to Jessica Uribe, who was a judge for us, who's helped us volunteer at our events. She opened a non-alcoholic beer place.
Yes, I saw the email, and I had intentions to go, but I was not available Saturday. I'm glad you went.
Yeah, we went. It was great. It's on basically 51 in Northern in
Okay.
Phoenix. It was great. It was
over-
cool. It's in a kombucha place called Molly's. I don't have the information. Rob will put it in the video. Then
Well, I was going to
after
suggest
that,
we should do a show with her.
we
sometime.
could for sure. Then we went to the new rent house in PV.
Yeah.
This is Saturday at 4 p.m. You can imagine how it was.
Oh, it was very loud, I'm sure, and very crowded.
Very, very, very busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. I had a sheet. Bunny had renovation too, and I had renovation cask, and we shared back and forth, and that's fun.
Yeah, they have 4 cask ales on all the time.
Yeah.
So, which bring this full circle.
Yeah.
We may not have Real Wild and Woody because of the financial thing, but we'll preserve the name for a while.
Yeah. I
The tra-
renewed the trademark this year, and it cost me like $2,000. So
Yeah. So we'll retain the name, and
It might-
maybe,
yeah.
maybe
maybe a tour, maybe a punch card thing.
I'm just saying maybe a rent house investing and helping people rediscover cask ale. We'll bring the real part back to Real Wild and Woody someday.
Yeah, could be.
But that's what your organizations are designed to do, is preserve things for the future. So we should leave it at that.
I think that seems right. Yeah.
Right on.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sometimes the beer finds you.
And this is not a beer podcast. This is a podcast about beer.
Yeah. Good seeing you, man.
See you too.